What we have seen is a perfect example of the underhand collusion that has existed for so long between immoderate defenders of Israeli extremism and figures at the top of the Conservative Party, both inside and outside Parliament. They've tried to threaten me, but I will not be bullied or silenced. I was interviewed on April the 4th by Nick Ferrari of LBC. In that interview, I called for an arms embargo and also accused some senior Conservative figures of not believing that illegal settlements were indeed illegal. I also accused them of promoting Netanyahu's extreme policies to the point where some should be sacked from the then government or expelled from the House of Lords. Now, what happened then is a political scandal which discredits the Conservative Party and which amounts to a McCarthyite witch hunt which is nothing less than despicable. The party refused to tell me who had complained or what precisely the complaint was. All I had to go on were some comments to the press by the likes of the Board of Deputies of British Jews and the Campaign Against Antisemitism, and they accused me of peddling anti-Semitic tropes. I mean, this merely followed the regular pattern of comments from such organizations in which anyone who criticizes Israel is more often than not viciously accused of being anti-Semitic. Where anti-Semitism genuinely exists, it should be ruthlessly called out. But it should not be artificially used to divert attention from legitimate comment on Israel. The perverse, and I would argue corrupt, relationship between the Conservative Friends of Israel and the top of the Conservative Party. This has gone on for too long. Money, improper influence, and the promotion of Israeli interests above our own have contributed to the destruction of the UK's independent foreign policy. They've also undermined UNRWA, the UN, and international law. And it all comes at the expense of innocent Palestinians. You need no greater evidence of this than the total silence we saw about Gaza during the election campaign. Likewise, nor was there a squeak about the acceleration of illegal settlement building and repulsive settler violence in the West Bank. These issues have been buried more quickly than Gaza's 40,000 dead. If the Conservative Party is to recover, it cannot do so without admitting and addressing this poison in its midst.
I don't object to the policy, which is that settlements are illegal, and that is formed or has been formed over many years and held for many years through a proper process, through officials, the Foreign Office, and then agreement with Number 10. But what then happens is that that entire process of proper policy making is bypassed behind the scenes by people who go directly into Number 10 and people at the top of Number 10 to say, well, oh, don't say that because it'll affect our donor base or it'll offend the Jewish community or something. And so what they've done over many years is push policy outside a policy-making process to the point where various prime ministers have said, oh, we'll do this or do that, we'll proscribe this organization. And let's look at one, for instance, where Michael Gove was really very underhand on this, in my view, which was putting forward a bill to prevent local authorities from boycotting or even advocating a boycott of illegal Israeli goods. So this was in direct contravention of our stated policy and in support of illegality. And I just find that, which was the result of lobbying from the likes of Lord Pollack of the Conservative Friends of Israel, absolutely despicable.